there's a Rainbow Six Siege collaboration going on right now, and maybe only a few of you play R6. So, what we're gonna do in this video is to explain to all of you how accurate is the collaboration event, from the operators added to the finest of details of the event stages. Let's get this party started. Before I begin, I'm stoked to share with you guys that this video is sponsored by a dear emulator that I use regularly. It's none other than LDPlayer. LDPlayer is a great choice for those of you who are looking for a way to play Arknights on your PC. Maybe because you want a second choice of where you play, or your phone may not be powerful enough to handle Arknights. LDPlayer doesn't use much of your computer juice, barely seeping your GPU or CPU. Just as I'm playing Arknights, I'm only using 6 to 7 MB of my RAM. That's like less than 0.01% of most of your RAM space. This RAM optimization comes together with the latest LDPlayer version of 4.062. This emulator has been crazy smooth and efficient to use. So if you'd like to use a new emulator or to change one, you can download LDPlayer today. The link to download it is in the description of my video. Alright, let's continue with the video. The first operator we've got is Tachanka, what many will meme as Lord Tachanka. Tachanka's funny title starts from the fact that he's historically one of the worst operators in Rainbow Six Siege. Though he has a decent weapon loadout, but his special ability to set up a turret wasn't favoured by the players, even being the least played operator for ranked matches. Despite this, magically, he was so bad that he became especially loved by the player base. At one point, a particular YouTuber began calling him Lord Chanka early on in Siege. It became popularized by the fanbase and even accepted by the developers, and that's pretty much how he's set in stone with such a loving title. If you want to see the history of why he's called the Lord, please watch this video afterwards so that you can learn about him. The link to it is in the description below. Anyways, let's talk about his skin and then his kit. Tachanka's E0 skin is basically the same as Rainbow Six. His E2 skin, however, is gorgeous, as the background is exactly one of the rooms within the maps of the main game. This is Cafe Dostoyevsky, the second floor library room. If you haven't noticed as well, on top of Tachanka, the word Lord is right above. Splendid reference to him. He also has a special purchasable skin, which is exactly his elite skin in Rainbow Six Siege. There's also a map behind him, which shows the third floor of Cafe, the piano room. The skin really captures the essence of R6, with several gadgets of the other R6 operators scattered around, such as Maestro's camera, Jaeger's active defense system, Castle's barricade, and Mute's jammer. There's also enemy drones hidden within the furniture of this skin, waiting for you to spot them. This skin is really a work of art. Tachanka's talent is also fascinating. Attack range increases, defense goes up, and his redeployment time increases. The reason for such traits is that first of all, his LMG turret can shoot pretty damn far, explaining his range. His turret is also bulletproof, adding to his defense. And he can take a pretty damn long time to set up his turret in the game. So that's pretty much why he has a redeployment time increase. However, this ability to set up a turret in R6 has been removed ever since, and it's been somewhat buffed to an incendiary grenade gun last year, which lights up the floor it lands on to hurt the enemies. This brings us to his skills in Arknights. His first skill, Incendiary Grenade, basically mimics his current one in R6, throwing those fire grenades and lighting up a few tiles. His second skill is Spray and Pray, which very funnily, that is the usual R6 term that we put to him because of his LMG having big recoil. The way he shoots feel a bit random, which are basically praying that he'll shoot the upper body or the head of the enemy for more damage, explaining why there's also a random chance to increase his attack in Arknights. That's basically his stuff, beautifully accurate. Let's move on to Frost. Frost is drawn very prettily for Arknights. I'd imagine some people are already simping. She's carrying her usual shotgun in her hand for her E0 art. For her E2 art, the map being shown is Yak, quite a tough map of R6. It does add that nice touch of the narrow field that Yak has, being a map that is full of hallways, not knowing when an enemy will pop up from nowhere. Frost's ability in the game is Welcome Mat, the perfect trap to get unsuspecting enemies into trouble. That is basically a trait in Arknights as well, to set up a limited number of welcome mats. Her first skill and second are similar, just varies in damage and whether it's stun or bind. I'm gonna focus on her second skill called Incapacitated Prey. If the mat is triggered, the enemy is binded, exactly like in Rainbow Six. if the target is within range, immediately attacks them. And that is also what she does over there. She hears an enemy falling into a trap, and she runs over to give them the good shooting to finish them off. Exactly a photocopy to the main game. Next one, we've got Blitz. He's my favorite of this update. 1. He became a lot hotter than people would think of him to be in R6. And 2. His kits are very identical to the main game as well. Let's start with his skin. Elite 0, he basically turned into an anime Bishonen. And Elite 2, he's putting his shield down and aiming his gun at you, just like how he fires in R6. The background is coastline, and it's the first floor bar of coastline. Super nicely drawn. He's got 2 talents. 1, he prioritizes stun enemies and raises his attack. In the actual game, he can flash his enemies from his shield and then fire away at them. His second one is dodging physical damage if he's got a cover behind or beside him. That is a very logical talent. He's got a shield, so his shield is ensuring that even his front is covered. All his Arknight skills have stun involved. The first one has a limit of 4 use, exactly the limit in R6. And yes, flashing someone in the main game will probably disallow them from using their special ability when they are blind. The next one is stunning them for a long time, having greater ASPD, greater attack, and attacking everyone in sight. So it's basically a massive stun bomb, and then he's utilizing the opportunity to kill everyone he can find, also like the main game. Last one, there's Ashe. Ashe also became very good looking coming into Arknights. Her Elite 0 skin looks like herself animate, and then her E2 skin is Oregon, the breachable wall at the back part of the building on 2nd floor. Her skin is the only one that references to an important aspect to R6, which is the camera. It's for the defenders to use and gain intel on where the enemies are. Her purchasable skin is probably referencing to Orignium Dust, but I think even the stage design of Orignium Dust takes some inspiration from Fortress in Rainbow Six Siege. Her first talent is to throw a stun grenade, which is a gadget that she had before, but sadly she no longer has it in R6 anymore after she got nerfed in a certain patch. For her second talent, Ashe is always a crowd favorite to rush straight towards the enemy with her grenades and her breach charges, which explains her initial SP increase. The highlight of Ashe is Skill 2 and Skill 3. Skill 2 states that she will throw a stun grenade and then spray all the bullets she has. The reason why it's 31 bullets is because that's the magazine capacity of a gun in the game. Skill 3 makes her fire a breaching round, which is a Rainbow Six ability. It doesn't exactly push people back in the actual game, but it can surely make people want to run in the backwards direction. Once the breaching round lands on the surface, then it will explode. Very identical abilities in both AK and R6. One more similarity is that the limit of the breaching round she can deploy is 2 in Arknights and also in Rainbow Six Siege. Also, she's a cat girl in Arknights. Amazing. Now I want to cover the furniture set of R6. The furniture set is inspired by Plane, which every piece of furniture is a gadget of the operators of R6. There's the usual bomb to defuse, there's Kai's Electro Claw, there's Jaeger's active defense system, Rook's armor bag, Clash shield, Mira's one-way mirror, Bandit's shock wire, Ella's stun mine, the deployable shield, Mute's jammer, Tachanka's turret, and of course, the CCTV camera. This has become my favorite furniture set, just for how stunningly accurate it is. The event maps are also quite original, but there are some inspiration they take from R6, such as the map design. It feels very close to Fortress of R6. For the mobs, the mercenary has a hologram skill. It's quite like Iliana from R6, who can also have a hologram to run around for intel. The Eradicator feels like a sniper in R6, who shoots only when an enemy is in their line of sight, so it somewhat resembles Glass. Also, the ticking time bomb is probably an idea that came up from the fact that there are bombs to defuse in R6. I think that's most of the similarities that I've caught of our dearest R6 operators in Arknights. There are other things to point out when speaking of the accuracy of this event, including the voice lines of the operators and also the storyline that is given to the R6 operators. That shall be for you guys to experience when using the operators and experiencing the event stories. I hope this helped you to appreciate more about this event and the work that the developers did to ensure realism and accuracy. This was a fun video to make, and I shall see you in more to come. Alright, bye bye.